He buttoned his pants accordingly before slipping on the striped Burberry sweater that Yoongi picked out for him. He faced the mirror, almost cringing at himself. It wasn't the outfit, no. It was him. He didn't appreciate the way his clothes clung to his skin, or the way his skin didn't seem to fit right over his bones. Jungkook had been avoiding looking into mirrors. His mother always told him that he was his biggest critic. She was right. Something is always wrong. The puzzle pieces aren't quite fitting together the way Jungkook had imagined. You still like Burberry, don't you? Jungkook's breath caught in his throat. It was the same voice from the radio. The same voice of his ex-husband. Jungkook continued to stare at himself in the mirror, unable to look at the man who had addressed him. His shoulders that were once lax, stiffened. I asked you a question. Taehoong's voice shook him to his core. Reminiscing on those long nights under the sheets, Jungkook chanted Taehoong's name like a mantra while Taehoong complimented his obedience. Jungkook couldn't look at himself anymore. His gaze shifted to his socked feet, one white, the other with stripes. Jungkook. How long does it take to get dressed? Jungkook flinched at Jane's tone from down the hall. Jane was insanely kind. Hard to believe, I know, but she can get antsy in these kinds of situations. Jungkook, with his head down, quickly left the room, drifting right past Taehoong. His cologne wafted into Jungkook's nose, bringing tears to his eyes. Not because of the potency, but because Taehoong's been wearing the same one for years. Jungkook's chest rose and fell deeply with every stride he took. Why Taehoong here? Did he come here to see Jungkook? No, he would never. He hasn't seen Taehoong in years. And then it hit him. He thought back to the phone call he had with Jane that afternoon. And there's gonna be a singer performing too. I can't remember his name, but he's super popular right now. He should have asked someone. Why did he go into this blindly? His eyes burned with tears, but he couldn't cry now. He was about to be on TV. Jungkook, you're on in 3, 2, 1. Jane spoke into his earpiece. Please welcome, GM Jungkook. The crowd went wild as he walked out to greet Jimmy with smiles and waves. He took a seat on the cushy sofa, taking a minute to look out into the crowd. Some people were crying tears of joy. So your book, Jimmy held up a hard copy, has been absolutely breaking the internet. Can you tell us what inspired you to write this novel? Well, Jungkook's eyes drifted backstage, making eye contact with Taehoong, who had been watching him diligently, as though it was his job. I had so much pent-up anger and sadness from this relationship that I needed to let out, and writing seemed like the only way to do it. I didn't have anyone to share my thoughts and feelings with anymore, so I just thought, why not? The audience cheered once more, which made Jungkook crack a smile. How does it feel to be so influential in the world today? I mean, millions and millions of people have broken out of unhappy relationships because of you. Jungkook felt his cheeks warming from Jimmy's charms, or maybe from Taehoong's trained gaze. It feels so fulfilling. I can't even put into words how triumphant it makes me feel to be the reason someone takes such a big jump like that. They continued the interview like normal. Jimmy asked about Jungkook's hometown, his family. Yeah, no, the usual. Jungkook did appreciate that Jimmy never asked about how his book was about or if he was finding someone new. He was very respectful. After about 30 minutes, Jimmy decided to introduce someone. Now we're taking a break to introduce our chart-crashing rock star, performing his song Love Me Again. Taehoong. The audience clapped and whistled as the camera panned to a side stage. Taehyung stood front and center with the guitar in his hands, ready to play. His face glowed with the warm lights flashing onto his dewy skin. Taehyung was dressed in an all-black suit, just like the one he wore on their first date, with his hair pushed but in a short curly quiff. He cut his hair. Drums kicked off the start of the song with soft guitar fading through. Taehyung always played guitar beautifully, but this time, his fingers were shaking. Not that Jungkook was paying much attention, not at all. Same lips red, same eyes blue, same white shirt, couple more tattoos. But it's not you and it's not me. Jungkook's eyes began to sting once more as he listened to the lyrics. This song was about him. But I can't touch what I see. Taehyung's eyes were glued to Jungkook's, but Jungkook wasn't making any moves to break the eye contact. Although the spotlight was on Taehyung, he acted like they were alone, just the two of them. His heart wailed, begging to feel something other than hurt. But Jungkook knew he couldn't go back. The fridge light washes this room white. Moon dances over your good side. And this was all we used to need. Shivers crawled up Jungkook's body at the memory. Shortly after his mom had passed, there was a massive power outage, of course. It was in the middle of the night, so neither of them noticed until Jungkook woke up from a night terror. He hid himself to the kitchen for something to drink, but he obviously couldn't see very well since it was dark and he had left his glasses on his nightstand. He tried to flick the light on, but obviously nothing happened. He tried once more, but nothing. "Fuck," Jungkook muttered. He trudged back to their bedroom to retrieve his glasses. Taehyung stirred as Jungkook searched. "Cookie, what are you doing?" Jungkook was a sucker for Taehyung's sleepy voice. Taehyung stretched his arms over his head. Jungkook watched Taehyung's muscles ripple with desire, even at this hour. "The lights aren't turning on." He pushed his glasses up his nose bridge. "Let me see." Taehyung crawled out of bed and pulled on a pair of sweats. Taehyung took long, determined strides to the kitchen while Jungkook took shorter, sleepier ones. Taehyung messed with the light switch for a few minutes before giving up and joining Jungkook at the table. Jungkook rested his head on his palm, looking out at the dark city. "Odd for New York, but power outages and all. You look beautiful." Taehyung brushed Jungkook's fringe out of his eyes. "Thank you," Jungkook mumbled with a sniffle. This past month had been a rough one. Jungkook was beginning to lose himself. Only with Taehyung's love was he able to get out of bed in the morning. "Can you get me a drink?" Jungkook requested. "Not sure if anything will be good since the power is out. It hasn't been out for long, I don't think." Taehyung followed through with Jungkook's request, opening the fridge on sight. The room lit up with bright light, practically blinding them both. "It's working," Taehyung exclaimed. "Try the lights." Taehyung rushed to flick the light on, and alas, the lights were working. They watched together as New York City became itself again with bright lights in the usual Times Square. When Jungkook tuned back in, the song was just ending. "I'm just trying to remember how it feels to have a heartbeat." Jungkook wiped a straight tear from his cheek while taking a shallow breath. He blinked away any excess tears before the lights and camera turned back to him and Jimmy. Such a lovely performance from our very own Kim Taehyung. Make sure to listen to his new debut album, Tae. That used to be his last name. The audience gave one last round of applause for Taehyung as he exited the stage. Jungkook clapped along with the audience, trying to distract himself from the thoughts that lingered in his brain. "Now, Jungkook." Jungkook turned his attention to Jimmy, forcing a polite smile. I've been wondering this for ages. What did you do with your wedding or engagement ring once you divorced? I threw it right in the trash, Jungkook said with full confidence even though it was a big lie. The audience laughed with Jimmy. You threw it away? Of course I did. I knew it may seem cruel but I felt as free as ever once I finally tossed it. It was hideous too, the audience laughed once more. Man, Jungkook is on a lying streak. He didn't throw the ring away. It's hidden in his desk drawer under empty cigarette boxes and candy wrappers. The ring is very pretty too. It was blue, like his eyes. Taehyung had the shade crafted specifically for him. He called it Jungkook Blue. What a creative name. The band itself is silver with diamond vines circling all around it. Jungkook pulls it out more often than not, just to feel something, just to feel like how he did when Taehyung proposed to him. Over the moon.